Automation games are built on one single promise: make bigger numbers. You feed the machine resources and follow static recipes. But what if a game took away all the safety nets, all the familiar recipes, every inch of vertical space, leaving you with nothing but spatial reasoning? This is Modulus, automation masterclass that replaces every static recipe with pure, unadulterated spatial geometry. It's a game that gives you all the tools for free, every conveyor belt, every machine, and even the buildings. Everything's for free. But it charges you a crushing tax on brainpower. Today, we're going to tear down Modulus and put it up against factory automation giants like Factorio, Satisfactory, and Dyson Sphere Program. And by the end of this video, we'll answer one burning question: can a game that takes away everything still deliver an addictively fun automation experience? Voxel building versus recipe-based automation. Let's look at why voxel manipulation completely breaks the standard automation loop. In games like Factorio, production isn't economies of scale, but the challenge is how to build thousands of them per minute. The recipe is static, but the logistics are dynamic. Modulus trades that economies of scale for economies of geometry. You aren't just handed a static recipe, you're handed the final visual target, and it is up to you how to make it using three basic tools: cutter, assembler, and the puncher. This requires a massive shift in spatial reasoning. You aren't just routing bells to a preset machine, you are inventing the manufacturing process. You have to use the cutter to slice the modules into specific nodes, then route those nodes into assemblers 2 pieces at a time, perfectly spaced and perfectly oriented. It is incredibly liberating experience because the solution that I have come up with would be completely different from the solution that you would come up. But creating the perfect, elegant, high IQ voxel machine is only because once you've designed the manufacturing process for your masterpiece, you're going to realize a terrifying truth: there's no space to put it in. That brings us to building space, the constraints of geography. In almost every factory automation game, space is just a suggestion. In Dyson Sphere Program, if you run out of space on one planet, you can just expand your factory to the next planet. In Satisfactory, you are given the biggest get out of jail free card, the Z-axis. If you run out of space on the ground, you can just put down concrete, build on the second floor, and start your factory over there. Modulus takes away your safety net. This fundamentally alters the mechanical depth. Because vertical routing is impossible, every conveyor belt you put down becomes a wall. If you don't plan your layout with obsessive precision, you will trap yourself. You aren't just optimizing your manufacturing process, you are also optimizing your footprint. You have to design production lines where the raw material enters, the complex voxel manipulation occurs, and the raw material is sent to its final destination, without ever conveyor belts crossing each other. It turns space building into a high-stakes game of Tetris. But if the game is this challenging, what is the reward? Progression system, tech trees versus skill trees. Modulus arguably takes the biggest risk in progression system. For example, look at Dyson Sphere Program. The research tree is astronomically massive. It constantly feeds you new toys, accumulating the ultimate visual experience. Looking up in the sky and seeing the Dyson Sphere that you built. It provides a flawless sense of intrinsic progression. Modulus, by comparison, has a remarkably small tech, but because designing shapes relies more on voxel manipulation, unlocking a level 2 assembler wouldn't actually impact your gameplay experience that much. The depth comes from your own skill. Over time, you organically learn how to shrink a sprawling 50-tile factory into small 15-tile factory. It is the only game in this genre where you have to simultaneously figure out the optimal production line as well as the physical manifestation of the final. The reward isn't a new machine, it is your own mastery over the mechanics. So, where does that leave us? Modulus isn't trying to be the next Factorio, and it's certainly not trying to match the intergalactic size of Dyson Sphere Program. By stripping away resource costs, removing the Z-axis, and abandoning the massive tech tree, it distills the factory automation genre down to its purest form: spatial geometry and condensed logistics. It is a game that respects your intelligence enough to not hand you the answer, but I'm not going to give this game a score out of 10. Because whether you'll enjoy this game or not entirely depends on what you want from the automation genre. If you need the dopamine hit of unlocking a massive tech tree and freedom to build endlessly in the Y and the Z direction, then this game might frustrate you. But if you want a tight, mechanically deep puzzle box that tests your ability to invent and optimize from scratch, Modulus is in a league of its own. What do you think? Does a lack of massive tech tree turn you, or are you ready to test your skills against the constraints of a voxel grid? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys the next time.